Hello Normans, and welcome back to this week's Norman News at Home edition. I'm Alana Morgan. Stay tuned for news on the NBA Finals and more on K-12 schools reopening. Around the school in 30 minutes, this is the Norman News. What's been happening with the coronavirus test and vaccine? Those are the questions we are all wondering. According to multiple sources, the federal government is working on shipping millions of coronavirus tests in the upcoming weeks. Governors will be able to distribute these tests out, and the states with the most population will get their hands on more tests first. This is so K-12 schools can start to reopen and more people can start to take tests. The test is said to deliver results within 15 minutes. Officials even emphasize the importance of testing in schools. The United States alone has distributed over 900,000 tests a day. We shall see what happens from here. Hopefully, everyone will be able to go back to school soon. Now to Jonah with some more news.
Thanks, Alana. In this week's segment, we will be talking about researchers that have found an alternative material to use as heart tissue in procedures that involve heart transplants. This new material is a certain type of spinach that is grown in fields in southern Mexico, and researchers have stated that it is a great alternative to the actual human tissue and muscle that makes the heart. Researchers have explained that using this new method is much better than using a mechanical heart that is made mostly in metal, since our bodies are much more resistant to organic materials rather than actual metal. This new process can also save many lives, since there are many patients right now who are in need of a heart transplant, but there's either a shortage of actual hearts or mechanical ones. Now to Jackson with this week's sports.
Thanks, Jonah. The Heat won Game 6 against the Celtics to put them in the finals. Many didn't think that the Lakers or Heat would make it to the finals. After the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, many thought that the Nuggets might have a chance. However, that was not the case. The Lakers have been playing very well, but it will be a good matchup against the Heat. The Heat were not expected to make it this far, but amazing performances from Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero had put them in this position. Also, Doc Rivers is no longer the coach for the Clippers. The Clippers have always played well during the regular season, but it seems as though they tend to give up during the playoffs. Although there is only so much a coach can do for the team, the players have to do their part by playing good as well. I don't think Doc Rivers is at fault here, but maybe a new coach will help the Clippers. Only time will tell. Thank you, and now to some more sports.
Thanks, Jackson. Currently, two teams are one win away from going to the NBA Finals. The Lakers have a 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets, who have played well, but not well enough to take down LeBron James and the rest of the team. This puts the Lakers one win from the Finals. Also in the East, the Miami Heat is winning 3-2 against the Boston Celtics, meaning that the Heat is also only one win away from going to the Finals. Boston was down 3-1, just like the Nuggets, but Boston played well on Friday night in a double-digit win, making the series go to 3-2. I can't wait to see what else the conference finals and the rest of the season will bring us. And now to Rachel with entertainment.
On September 19th, supermodel Gigi Hadid and singer Zayn Malik welcomed their new baby girl. It is believed that Gigi gave birth on her family's farm in rural Pennsylvania. The couple confirmed the birth of their daughter on Instagram, posting a picture of the infant's hand. Gigi and Zayn have not yet released her name. This is the first child for both the 25-year-old model and the 27-year-old singer. Gigi and Zayn met a few years ago at a friend's birthday party and quickly began their relationship. Friends of the couple, such as Taylor Swift and Donatella Versace, have given gifts to the new bundle of joy. Swift gifted a handmade blanket. The world wishes Gigi and Zayn health, happiness, and respect for choosing to keep their lives private during this precious time.
Here is today's entertainment news. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the second woman to serve in the Supreme Court and spearheading advocate for the ladies' privileges, who in her 9th decade turned into a social symbol known as the notorious RBG, passed away Friday at her home in Washington at 87 years old. Her unfortunate passing was due to pancreatic cancer, the Supreme Court said. RBG advocated for women's rights and same-sex marriage in the Supreme Court. May she rest in peace. That's all for today. I'm Adriana Shnayderman for the Entertainment News.
This week we're going to be talking about the new sci-fi movie Invisible Man. This movie is about a scientist, Oliver Jackson Cohen, who plays the role of an abusive ex-boyfriend. Oliver staged a suicide and left his ex-girlfriend Elizabeth Moss, which she thought was very suspicious. With Oliver's new hiding powers, he's invisible to everyone around him. Oliver goes out of his way to stalk his ex, but Elizabeth knew there was something off the whole time. Later in the movie, we see Elizabeth portrayed as a crazy woman, and she gets treated for her so-called illness, which is actually just her believing that he's always in the room with her. Watch the movie on Amazon Prime to find out if Elizabeth escapes her abusive ex and stalker. This movie is based on domestic abuse, which is why it's rated R. That's all for this week. Now grab some popcorn, sit back, relax, and stay tuned for this week's new movie trailer.
Adrian? He was a sociopath. He said that I could never leave him. He controlled how I looked and what I wore. Then it was controlling when I left the house. And eventually, what I thought. I'm sorry, I can't take you with me. I'm not gonna leave you with that thing on. Are you okay?
Get back here!
What happened to him?
Adrian's dead. Listen, you're getting your freedom back, okay?
He said that wherever I went, he would find me. Walk right up to me, and I wouldn't be able to see him. Adrian is dead. He's not dead. He has figured out a way to be invisible.
Are you okay?
He's sitting in that chair. Where are you? Show yourself!
Surprise. Let me help you.
You can't help me. Surprise.
A Texas city announced a declaration of disaster when this past Saturday a brain-eating amoeba was discovered in their water supply. This declaration was filed just a couple weeks after a 6-year-old boy from Lake Jackson died after contracting this deadly microbe. A critical advisory stating for residents to not use any water under any circumstances was issued for 8 of the communities in the greater Houston region. The notice stated to not use any tap water with the exception of flushing toilets. This notice was later lifted by all communities other than Lake Jackson itself. Lake Jackson already lifted the don't use water advisory, but the notice to boil water before usage still remains in place. This city, located south of Houston, contains 27,000 residents and contains a major water treatment plant. Its water comes from the Brazos River, which runs directly through the city. The grocery store chain, Kroger, will be helping to supply the city with water during this tough time. Kroger has already deployed many trucks containing over 250 pallets of water directly to local stores in need. The amoeba can cause a rare infection of the brain called PAM. PAM is known for destroying brain tissue and tends to be fatal. It usually infects people's brain after initially gaining entrance through their noses.
While we struggle to put an end to the pandemic, an airport in Finland has developed a creative way to screen passengers for the virus, using dogs. Dogs are being trained to smell COVID-19 on passengers, and they're reported to have a shocking accuracy rate, quote, almost 100%. The animals screen passengers as they arrive at the airport, and if they smell COVID-19, they give a signal. Then, that person is tested normally to confirm the dog's response. Currently, the program is a volunteer program, and passengers can be screened if they would like to. But, given the success of the program, it might be expanded to regularly screen passengers. If you have symptoms of COVID-19, please get tested and prevent the potential spread to other people by keeping your distance and wearing masks.
If you are planning on going to a hotel soon, then you should be prepared for the changes that have been made over the past months. In many hotels, several safety precautions have been taken to minimize contact with other people as well as high-touch items. Hotels throughout the world have taken different safety measures during COVID-19. If you want to know the different measures a certain hotel will be taking to keep you and the people around you safe, then you can call the hotel in advance, or you can check their website, which might also have this information. Many hotels have been taking out lots of high-touch items, such as microwaves, coffee machines, hangers, menus, and many other common objects. During check-in, you will be expected to socially distance from other people and keep a face covering on while you're in the common areas. There may even be social distancing checkpoints throughout the hotel. There is a high chance that the food you are given, whether you are out at a restaurant or ordering from room service, will be prepackaged as well. Some hotels may also give you sanitary supplies such as masks and wipes upon arrival, and most hotels will supply you with masks upon request. Some hotels will even give you the option for a contactless key, so instead of a handheld key, you would use your phone as your key. A safer option for sleeping arrangements while you are traveling might be a rental house, such as an Airbnb. Now to Phoebe with local news.
Thanks, Natalie. Because of the Labor Day weekend get-togethers that many had or attended, many health officials are predicting a surge in coronavirus cases and hospitalizations. State health officials also warn that California is scheduled to see an 89% increase in COVID-19 hospitalizations over the next month. According to California Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Gailey, emergency room visits and case numbers are rising globally, which means that the outbreak is escalating. According to the Los Angeles Public Health Department, there have been another 1,401 confirmed coronavirus cases Friday. Unfortunately, since Labor Day, there has been an increase in cases and the numbers keep rising daily. The typical amount of individuals who can get the illness climbed from less than 1 to 1.02. To be able to reopen, the state has to be below this number. If we as a nation want to slow down the spread of the virus, we have to keep the number to less than 1. In the last week, the health officials have stated that there have been 1,000 new cases each day for about 4 days straight. Now to Alana with school news.
Thanks, Phoebe. Many of us Beverly students and our Beverly Hills community are familiar with the restaurant Nate and Now's. Nate and Now's will continue to serve their customers after recent reports of their restaurant shutting down. The owners hope that once the restaurant was sold or leased, they would be able to move into a city-owned space on North Cannon Drive. However, they then realized that their needs would not be met with the city's offering, and they chose to not move locations. The owners then stated that they hope to keep Nate and Now's and its origin, which is Beverly Hills. Now to Jonah with some more news.
Thanks, Alana. Normans, this week we didn't have school on Monday due to Yom Kippur, which means that this week's schedule will be a little bit different than the other ones. Unlike most weeks, we will not have an early start on Wednesday, which means that zero period will not start at 7 a.m. on Wednesday, but rather at 8, and those who start at 8 will start at 9:40. This will occur since we will have a block days on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. Sadly, this will be one of the last times we have the schedule, so make sure you enjoy it. Now, Natasha with this week's weather forecast.
Hi, I'm Natasha Jadidolahi, and welcome to this week's live KBEV weather forecast for the week of October 2nd, 2020. This week in Los Angeles, we will see sunny skies with high temperatures ranging from the low 80s to low 90s. Today we'll see a high of 93 degrees to the low 60s, bringing us to Saturday with warm temperatures of 90 degrees to the cool 60s. On Sunday, we will see a high of 88 degrees. Moving on to Monday, we will see a low of 63 to a high of 82. On Tuesday, we'll continue to see highs of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Finally, on Wednesday, we'll be back to the low 90s. Thank you so much for watching this week's live weather forecast. I'm Natasha Jadidolahi, and have a great week. Now to Grace with Health News.
Thanks, Natasha. The U.S. is one step closer to finding a vaccine for COVID-19. With the holidays just around the corner, it's easy to assume that news has just come in that it's time to travel. But that's not what healthcare officials recommend. Experts say that it's almost impossible to become immune to the virus without a vaccine, and that in order to become immune, almost half of the United States' population would have to be exposed to the virus. After being injected with the vaccine, you're not exactly set to go. The vaccine takes time to completely be functional and effective. Although we miss our regular life, traveling, and things like pandemics don't just go away by themselves. Please make sure to stay safe and patient. Our impatience isn't making the doctors go any faster. Stay safe. Now let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you for watching this week's Norman News. I'm Jonah Danesh, and we will see you all next week.